Okay, so I thought I would show you a little bit around Alet Liban, where I have channeled through the first activation, which was the Holy Grail activation, and it was channeled from this absolutely stunning goddess village down in what I call the Holy Grail vortex in southwest France. This tiny village, really ancient, and we are just passing. Let's just see that there is the church, but what is even more amazing, literally next door is this incredible ruined abbey. So can you it's got a car. We don't have many cars in the village because the main road is kind of bypass the main road. But can you see the abbey there? Just look at that there. Isn't that just amazing? Look at that, the old ancient abbey. So Alet has a lot of springs. So I'm going into the ancient past here. Has a lot of springs and also thermal springs, and it's literally sitting on top a huge sort of water vortex of this really pure crystalline energy. The water is really pure here, and you've got these fountains all over the village. And so I felt very drawn to work with the first transmission from here over the Lionsgate Portal. So the Lionsgate Portal happens every single year over the 8/8, and it has a lot of links to it in terms of the frequencies and the energies coming through. So the one is that because it's over the 8/8, the peak is over the 8/8, it's all around manifestation. But there's so much more to that. It's very much linked to the Syrian frequencies coming through, connecting in with goddess Isis. Very much I feel this year around rebirth, but the rebirth is from and into the higher heart, and that to me is the key difference of this Lionsgate Portal from a lot of them over the previous years, is that in general we are now getting a huge amount of downloads and frequencies, all to do with the activating of the higher heart chakra. So I do feel for a lot of, can you see that? We've got the stage. Let me just want to show you this as well. They're having a little fete, I think on the 4th or 5th of August. But let me just show you this. This is really interesting. So, there is another water fountain here at the back there. But here, can you see right behind there? See that beautiful house there? That is purported to have been one of the houses that Nostradamus stayed in and lived in. Apparently his grandparents lived here, and he would come over here. And I can really understand how that would have really, being in this good location right here, would have really activated him, because of you have two sacred geometries that are embedded into the landscape here. You have the pentagram, the Venus temple pentagram, and you also have the Star of David, two very powerful technologies that really support, to me, really a lot of the totality of the ascension process comes through those two sacred geometries, which is really interesting that they're right in this local geographical landscape right here. So with the Lionsgate Portal, to me it very much is the all around the activation of the high heart. And I do feel, and I notice it a lot with a lot of light workers, notice it a lot with the temple members in my membership, is that a lot of us are getting really activated through that higher heart chakra. And so, that's creating a whole new level of ascension symptoms as well, but also really supporting us to literally live our lives, our state of being, from this higher energetic state. Now, what I found really interesting when I was tuning in, can you just see these houses? Aren't they just absolutely adorable? Look at the narrow streets. I feel like I'm in Harry Potter land here. So beautiful. So what I found really interesting about these higher heart states is that one of the aspects to that is the manifestation. And when I really tuned into it, what was coming to me was that, it's about living in a state of abundance and manifestation through the higher heart. What that means is that the way that you manifest and the way that you live your life is through the higher heart, which means it's through your passions, it's through what you love. It's like these frequencies are just woven into everything you do. So whatever you're creating, whatever you're bringing through, whatever you're doing with those frequencies of passion, of love, of joy, it just naturally brings in the abundance. So can you see over there? I was going to show you down here. Look, isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful. So this just weaves that naturally in, so that the way that you manifest, to me, this is the ultimate way of manifesting. The way you're manifesting is through your passions, is through what you love, because it literally activates the higher heart, which is like a combination of the deeper chambers of your heart chakra and your throat chakra. So therefore that brings in those frequencies of love that then can be expressed through your throat, through what you say, through your hands, your arms, through what you write. And that therefore means that your expression out into the world is weaved in with those beautiful potent frequencies of divine love. And so I feel there is a big aspect of this Lionsgate portal is around those frequencies, around supporting the activation of these frequencies. So it's not just heart. I really want to make that super clear. This is higher heart. It's at a whole nother level again. Now, what I find interesting is that I've been coming back to this grid location. We have a house here in Alert, and we actually got married here as well about 20 years ago or so. And it's just one of these sacred grid locations that has always captivated me, that I don't know, I've probably had a past life as a Qatar, or, I just feel so at home in this location. And to me, I call this the Holy Grail Vortex. It's the area that Mary Magdalene is reported to have come to with the Holy Family. It's also the Qatar region as well, Templars. I mean, it has such a rich history. It's unbelievable here. And I feel, because there's so much Syrian frequency here, and Goddess Isis energy here, and Mary Magdalene energy here, it's very much around, to me anyway, it's very much around bringing through these higher heart frequencies. It's the Holy Grail. It's about that divine love, that divine heart frequencies that really gets activated here through the alchemical properties, through all the water, through the salt springs, through the thermal waters. It's very rich here alchemically, and so creates a really deep process of purification, so that I'm just coming out. Can you see, look at that beautiful wall, the ancient wall here. So we've just come out of the inner walled village, just on the outside here. You can just see this is literally the foothills of the Pyrenees. Can you see those in the background? And this is where the locals' cars park, because you just literally, as you saw, the streets are so narrow. You probably get a sense there. The streets are so narrow on the inside. You don't get that many cars in there. Although the French do love to push it, and they do a little bit drive in there, but my goodness, it's very tight. So to me, this really is the like a Holy Grail vortex, because of the purification that it affords. and enables each one of us to, you know, take that next step in our ascension process. So I channeled, so part of the Lionsgate is all around, to me, is a lot about that higher heart and manifestation through the higher heart. So I felt drawn to channel a couple of transmissions and activations from this sacred site that is a combination of different areas, right? So the first one I've already facilitated and channeled through, and that was literally from here, and that was the Holy Grail activation. That's really starting to support the higher heart activation. I've done a lot more actually of the higher heart activation in my temple membership, if you're interested in going even further into all of this, and also with the temple of Dendera, which is the Egyptian gridding tour that I'm currently facilitating, both of which you can join. Just leave a comment if you want more information on those. But for the Lionsgate, that was the first one, and so that is now already available to listen to right now when you join the Lionsgate. The Lionsgate Portal officially opens on the 26th of July, and I will be facilitating a recording on the 26th of July at Rennes Chateau. Now, I did a little recording there for free. It's on my YouTube channel of from the Mary Magdalene Church in the garden there. It's really beautiful. It's for about 7 minutes or so if you want to listen to that. But I will be going back there and doing a channeling around the dragon power energy, and that's really to support each one of us to move more to move more energy through our lower chakras up into the heart and activate more divine will, because it's really from that divine will state where you're in a more receptive state. So when we're really talking about manifestation, especially, you know, anything that you do in your spiritual business, to do with anything creative projects, ultimately the manifestation comes through that divine will state. But what does that actually mean? So the way I see it is that you're receiving information via your higher self. So it's not your mental brain saying, oh well, you know, what should I create, what do I need, you know, what should I write about, whatever. No, it's a whole nother level, because you're going into deeper states of surrender, bringing it through, and then your job as a vessel is to then actually anchor it onto the physical plane. But what comes through, you're not in charge of. That is divine will. That's opening up and a surrendering to what's coming through, and then it's for you to bring it through and anchor it through. I did a workshop on that. I called it From Inspiration to Creation workshop. I think it's in my Quantum Manifestation 2.0 program, and it's all about, you know, that whole process. Oh, we've got a doggy. Hello. So that is, I feel, and it's, and you know, you there is a lot of surrender and a lot of trust that you have to develop within yourself in that process. And so it's a big process that I feel humanity as a whole is going to be pushed to do more and more and more. But you first of all got to be able to even get into those states of divine will, and to be able to do that, you have to activate your higher heart through that whole process. And that therefore means that there's this it's like it's how your the way you think, your brain and your heart literally work together, but you're led via your heart and not your thought process or anything like that. So it's bonjour. So that's a really big part of the process. And I feel that this Lionsgate Portal is a huge support to that, because the Lionsgate works with the heart. It works with those divine love frequencies in that way. So I feel with the dragon power from Rennes le Chateau, that's going to support you to get more into those states. I then, over the 8-8, which is the peak of the Lionsgate, I will be doing a transmission like I did last year from the Goddess Isis throne in Rennes-les-Bains. It's an ancient, it's up in a forest, and it's this ancient stone chair, and it has, to me, it takes you out straight away galactically into the cosmos and takes you into the Syrian frequencies. So I will do a transmission there on the 8-8 as well, and then I will be doing a transmission around the embodiment. How do we embody, like the practical steps of the embodiment of these frequencies, because it's one thing to connect into these frequencies, and then it's a totally different thing to actually bring them through and integrate them. And then I'll share some of the ways that if you want to carry on working with me, that you can do that as well. So that's those are the Lionsgate's frequencies that I'm going to be specifically working on. I do feel this is the time for light workers, for empaths, for starseeds, however you label yourself. This is the time right now. The world is dramatically changing, and so I feel by working with a higher heart, being able to work in that way, it's a totally new way of working, right? We've been so conditioned and programmed to work in kind of an almost topsy-turvy way, that there's a whole reprogramming that has to happen to support us and to work in a totally new way. And so I feel this higher heart activation and the way that the electromagnetics around the heart and around the brain working in a different way, so that your consciousness is more heart-based, as opposed to with the mental thought patterns. It's just that the mental thought patterns are, let me just show you, this is the North Gate. Let me just show you this. It is stunning. It's just that those are so different. So let me just show you that. Can you just see that, how beautiful that is? Look at that. Right, let's go back into the village. So yes, that's the difference between I feel how that 3D matrix, how we've kind of been always, the thought patterns are so strong, you don't even realize how programmed we are to them being way more heart consciousness, but being able to hold that, even when we're getting triggered, that's the key, even when we're getting triggered. So if you feel drawn to joining us on the Lionsgate Portal, that will be amazing. So you receive all those transmissions and activations over this grid point. And I feel that's what makes it so unusual. One, we're working with a higher heart and not just the heart. But two, we're working from this literal, holy grail grid point, which works specifically with those activations as well. So it's just going to amplify everything, I feel. And I really feel so honoured and blessed to literally be able to be here on this location over the Lionsgate, and to support anybody, including myself, to get, what's the way of saying, get as much juice out of the Lionsgate Portal as much as possible, because we're living in there's so much light coming through. Look at that, that's part of look at that wall, isn't that beautiful? That's part of the wall. Well, this would have been a city at one point. To get so much, potency from these frequencies coming through, because there's so many downloads of light now. It's just mind-blowing. But of course, just as there's because we live in that duality, just as there's as much light coming through, it also brings up a lot more shadow stuff, right? Whether we see that on the collective or whether we see that individually. So being able to go through those purifications within ourselves and getting, the transmissions, the activations to support us to do that. and for me to have the, you know, the honor of supporting anyone who wishes to be able to absorb some of the frequencies from this location, because it's a very much a spiritual pilgrim area here, very much, especially Mary Magdalene frequencies from here. It enables you, even if you're over in the States or you're over in Africa, wherever you are in the world, you're going to be able to you know, really absorb and connect into these frequencies because of that. And to me, that's, I feel very honored and blessed that I'm able to do that for everybody, give them the chance to be able to connect in that way. So, oh, we're back on the sort of semi-main road here, although as I said, there's not really that much, don't get that much coming through Alet. So yes, comment below if you would like some more information. I think also on my main website, chloecousins.com, you can also find the details as well. So I think that's it. I'm just going down another little beautiful little alleyway. It's just so stunning. So yes, so when you join, straight away you'll gain access to that Holy Grail activation. That activation, I suggest you start with straight away in preparation for the Lionsgate, join the Lionsgate, and also after the Lionsgate as well. Then on the 26th, you will receive the Dragons of Rene, which is the transmission that I will do from Rennes le Chateau all around Dragon Power. I do also believe there'll be some Kundalini energy coming through on that as well. I don't know 100%. Oh, look, here we go. Here's Notre Dame's house there. Can you see that? And then on the 8th, I will be up a mountain in a forest at the goddess Isis throne there, doing the transmission on the 8/8, and then a bit later on I will do the transmission on the integration and on the embodiment. So it will be amazing. If you feel drawn, welcome you in to this beautiful Holy Grail vortex. And I know we've already had a lot of people join, which is amazing. So yes, if you feel drawn, I'll put the links there for you. Thank you. Lots of love.